So today, what we're talking about is, I want to make sure I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. Great. Welcome, everybody. We're talking about presentation secrets because that seems to be top of the mind right now. What most customers, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is happening to you, customers are walking in and saying, hey, what's your best price? What's your best price? I was just in two dealerships this week, Monday, Tuesday. Yesterday, sold a pickup truck on the floor, which was really exciting. Guy came in, everybody was busy. He saw me waiting for salespeople to work with them because I'd facilitated the seminars and it was done. It was the last hour of the day, and I was waiting for the general manager to give him a recap of what we talked about and how everybody thought about it. And this guy goes to me, he said, how much is this truck? And so I told him how much it was. It was really easy to do. And I said, what are you currently driving? And he said, I'm not in the market for it at all. I just came in because my brother-in-law purchased an F-150, and I didn't know why he would buy a truck. And I said, what are you driving now? He still wouldn't tell me. He said, I never purchased a domestic vehicle, ever. And I said, okay, rather than why, right? I said, okay, and just nodded my head. Well, he looked inside, and he's looking around, and I said, why don't you close the door? Because we were in the showroom, he was in the driver's seat, and closed the door, and then I went around the passenger seat, and then I started my presentation inside the vehicle, which is backwards, right? That's the worst place to start your presentation. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to test my mettle here. I'm really going to test my stuff. So I'm going through all of it, and he looks and he goes, you know, this thing's a tank. It's huge. I go, yeah, but in a good way? And he goes, yeah, oh yeah, no, in a good way. It's really nice. It's luxurious. He looks in the back seat. He goes, it's huge. I can't get over that. He said, I can see why my brother bought a pickup truck. And I said, well, what are you towing? What are you hauling? He goes, nothing. I said, would you consider driving it? And he goes, no, I wouldn't own it. I wouldn't buy one. I just wanted to see what the hype was, seeing how many vehicles are out on the roadway that are trucks, and I'm seeing them all over the place, and my neighbors all drive them. And he said, I drive a car. I said, what kind of car? And of course, now I got the model out of him. And then consequently, what the problem was with respect to domestics for him was that he didn't think domestic manufacturers produce as luxury a vehicle as his Audi. And second of all, he never saw himself driving a pickup truck because he doesn't have a use for it. And not to mention that pickup trucks were for construction workers, you know, people who work the line. They're for loggers, and they're for gas pipeline people. And he just didn't see the allure and why someone would want a truck. So we took it a step further, and I said, well, you want to take one for a drive. If you've got 5 seconds, you know, we can just go around the building, or we can take it down the little laneway. It was a automotive mall that we were in. And he goes, yeah, for 5 seconds, yeah, I can do that. Now just imagine if you said to him, would you like to take it out on a demonstration drive? You see, here's the problem with average, ordinary automobile sales training. And this is the reason why you've been let down. And this is the reason why you can't sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency, because you don't have, number one, our system. Number two, you're not talking to customers like they are your dad, your brother, your neighbor. And you're not doing that because, again, you don't have the system. So when you do your product presentation, be it walk around, demonstration drive, or delivery, start with the end in mind. So with this guy, I wasn't telling him about how wonderful and terrific the 11-inch TFT sunlight readable touchscreen display was, the digital dash, the toggle switches, the slow speed stopping, pedestrian alert, towing capacity. He was sitting in a 6.6 liter turbo diesel. We didn't talk about the Allison transmission. I did eventually introduce all of that afterwards, but that wasn't right out of the gate because he wasn't really thinking about purchasing a truck until he knew a little bit more about it. And quite frankly, he'd never even driven one. And probably if I launched into an auto show presentation, 60-point feature benefit, he would probably be very enamored and entertained with my presentation because I've been doing it for so long. But that doesn't mean that he'll buy. What you'll recognize, and what I discovered eons ago that became even more obvious throughout the inventory shortage in the pandemic when we didn't have any vehicles, and it was really hard for us in the independent vehicle world, the used car vehicle world, of which I still have my dealership, and everything I share with you is tried and tested out on the showroom floor. And then yesterday, I'm in a brand new showroom, and here I sell a truck that I'm very familiar with anyhow. I do product training on it. This guy buys. And he buys because I discovered that he didn't think domestic vehicles were luxurious. His brother purchased a truck, and he just couldn't see himself going to a fancy restaurant with his spouse and looking now at the back seat, and I got him to sit in the back seat as well. He couldn't believe how roomy it was. And then we started talking about children and moving bicycles around and cleaning the yard and driving up to cottage country with a vehicle that is more than capable, lots of ground clearance, and even in the wintertime going to ski country with four-wheel drive. He admitted, now his vehicle, albeit was all-wheel drive, it would be a whole lot easier to be able to put skis in the box of the truck, and this particular one had a tonneau cover on it, so everything's protected. And he was shocked how he hadn't ever considered that before. Well, if you were to approach him and just launch into your magnificent 60-point feature benefit presentation about trucks because he's standing in your showroom, he'd probably be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can't agree with you more. It's for $111,000. It is a lovely vehicle, and it's going to put him in somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 a month in terms of a payment. He didn't even flinch when I suggested it to $1,253 bi-weekly. It didn't even faze him in the least. In fact, I think what actually happened, because his eyebrow did perk up a little bit, I think he thought that was actually inexpensive. I think he thought, looking at it, he'd taken some time, saw the power running boards, had no idea it was a diesel engine, had no idea it was an Allison 10-speed transmission, if maybe more than that. Now I'm doubting myself. Regardless, he had no clue that the truck had all these creature comforts, air-conditioned seats, heated steering wheel, heated seats, that his Audi did. And so it elevated the experience as I told the story, because the hook was it's not as luxurious as his car. And yet, here are all the features that his car has that he really likes. I didn't ask him, what do you like about the car you're driving? What do you not like about the car you're driving? Quite frankly, I wasn't really sure until I got him out on the roadway that he was going to give me any level of commitment. He gave me a magnificent level of commitment when we got out on the roadway, and he goes, wow, is this thing ever maneuverable? I said, yeah, it's got a bird's eye camera as well, so if you want to turn around. And we were in a really tight, horrible parking lot. And so when he made the turn, in order to initiate the 3-point to try and get out of there, that's when he said, wow, is this ever maneuverable? So just imagine if I hadn't done that, he's driving along thinking, how the hell am I going to get this thing turned around? Like, I'm going to get myself stuck in here. I'm going to have to back all the way up. I said, no problem at all. You've got the cameras. You can see exactly where you are, front and rear park assist, that'll tell you how close you can get to the next vehicle. So a 3-point turn is really quite easy. Just imagine having a trailer hooked on, how much easier that is, because you can see where the trailer is in relationship to where you want to back it up and put it in the water. Just imagine if it was an F-150 and you've got the trailer backup assist. I mean, that, for a guy that tows a lot, and I do, I tow boats, I tow motorcycles, I tow a small enclosed motorcycle trailer, we call it the locker room. We've got a toy hauler that's 30 feet long. It is a pain to get those trailers into some of the parking spots that we have to, or worse, I'm in a location that I thought I had lots of parking room, and somebody parks behind me. It's magnificent to have the level of technology that we do have on the automobiles right now, because the technology only 10 years ago was rear view mirrors. Now, we did have backup cameras, but we didn't have the bird's eye camera, and to the level of detail that we have right now. And of course, auto parking, where you can just have the vehicle pull into your spot in a downtown condo living, all of which I shared with this guy. He was flabbergasted, absolutely wowed that domestic vehicles are that capable compared to luxury import. So it really was a terrific experience. He did buy. I asked him if he could see himself owning it. He said, absolutely. I said, if we could come up with a price that make you happy between the difference of what you're currently driving to the one you're going to go to, do you think you could see yourself going to the 0%? He goes, yes. All of which just was the hook. It's all these hooks all along the way in order for me to get commitment that I'm not wasting my time with them. My presentation is different with someone who says, there is nothing you can do or say to make me buy. I'm entertaining you. I'm going along with you. I will go on a demonstration drive with you because you're very polite and very nice, and I do appreciate the fact that you've asked me to do so, but there's nothing to dissuade me from continuing to drive the car that I'm driving. There's nothing you can do to say or convince me. It doesn't even matter how much it is. I love the car that I'm driving. There are some customers, you know that as well as I do, that are going to say that. But you shouldn't be taking them on a 60-point feature benefit walk-around presentation. You shouldn't be taking them on a demonstration drive because they're not necessarily in the market. And when you do, you take yourself off the showroom floor for someone that is going to come in. And that's Murphy's Law. Another buyer is going to come in, a very legitimate buyer, in moments. Now, the secret to your walk-around presentation, as I suggested earlier, is to start with the end in mind. This is what average ordinary automobile training does not teach you and how they let you down. They tell you need to do a walk-around. The biggies of the industry tell you product knowledge isn't even important. The manufacturer will tell you all about it, and you should know a little bit of product knowledge, but when it comes right down to it, customers buy on price. Not necessarily true. If customers purchase on price, then the manufacturer would sell direct to consumers. And we know the market disruptors which have tried to do that and not have had success, either during the inventory shortage or even following the inventory shortage, and barely had measurable success prior to the inventory shortage, which was the pandemic. The supply chain fragmentation is what I'm making reference to, the inventory shortage that was as a result of the pandemic protocol of various countries around the world. The point that I want to make is that when we don't sell the automobile, we haven't completed what the customer set out to do today. And this is where the average ordinary automobile trainer, specifically those big names that profess and pontificate to be magnificent closers and negotiators, fall flat on their face. Because the customer did not set out today, correct me if I'm wrong, go ahead and debate it, put your comment below, I don't mind, I'm happy to have the conversation with you. I'm going to put a link below, you can book a call with me if you really want to debate it firsthand, virtually over the phone. I'm happy to take your call. Customer did not set out today to come into your dealership and negotiate price. They did not set out today as a goal to test their negotiation skills. Nor did they set out a goal today to be closed on a sale that they have a tough time making the decision on. Look, make no mistake. Today when they walk into your dealership, email you as a lead, call you as a lead, they have consciously made the decision, transcending the process of buying, to want to know more information about the vehicle that you're selling. And yes, top of the list is price, because the internet has made it so easy for them to learn so much about the automobile. If we could get in a time machine and go back to the 1990s, prior to the internet, customers had to come into the showroom. Customers had to pick up a newspaper to learn about prices. Customers had to buy a magazine to really determine that this vehicle that they would like to go with is better than the competitor, which they may not know anything about. Today, they can compare the direct competitors on the manufacturer's website of the brand that they would like to own. So yes, they know a lot about automobiles coming in, but they don't have the functionality of the features of a particular model and trim level that they would like to take delivery of. And consequently, they think the only common ground that they have with you, therefore, is price, because that's the only variable that the internet cannot give them definition on. So here you are, trying to be as personable and helpful and friendly with customers, and by only answering their price questions, all you're simply doing is delaying the inevitable decision that they're going to make. And when you delay their decision, they get ticked off. It looks like they're okay with it. And you say, and we had the exact same scenario yesterday. So a young salesperson that I was coaching took a lead, and the lead was absolutely perfect. Husband and wife, child in hand, going from a car to a sport utility, going from a competitive brand, a BMW Mini, to a sport utility of a decent size. You couldn't, in my opinion, get a more perfect scenario. There's no reason for this guy to go home and sleep on it. There's no reason for him to want to leave and talk to his spouse about it. If the car is for the spouse, there's no reason for her to say, I got to talk to my husband. They're all there. This is life insurance, okay? When life insurance or an investment banker wants to get your business, they will ask your whole family to sit in on the meeting, virtually or live. And they'll come in and they'll present the life and the disability insurance and the investments. And if your children are teenagers, it's even better. If they're young adults in their 20s, it is great because you can get them investing their RRSP with this individual. If they're teenagers, we're talking RESP, we're talking life insurance, the whole gamut. The really smart customers that drive life insurance salespeople crazy. My uncle was a very successful life insurance salesperson, manager, ran the region. He said, the people that drive us absolutely nuts are the ones that go, no, you'll meet with me and only me. I don't want my spouse there. I don't want the kids there. Tell me all about it, and then I'll let you know whether we go with it. When you don't have the whole family there, they got a great excuse to say, I need to sleep on it. I'm going to talk it over with the family. We're going to make sure this is exactly what we need. Check our finances. When you got them all there, anyhow, that's why I think it was the perfect scenario. Now, the husband, wife, child was there. And what the salesperson got caught up in was the guy's ability as an assertive buyer to get him against the ropes and push him to give them a great price. And so there was no emotion to move to the new vehicle. There was no opportunity to move to a switch vehicle that could be slightly less expensive. The other mistake that was made was that because there was no emotion in it and the salesperson felt like they were not having any traction and really helping this client and getting commitment, there was only one price served up. So the answer is a yes-no answer. It's an ultimatum answer, all of which is so wrong and so backwards. Look, make no mistake. I'm not telling you that you can't talk price before going out and doing a walk-around demonstration drive. You can. You must. At the interview, at the counseling qualifying stage, the second activity of the funnel, you need to tell them how much it's going to cost. But you only tell them the advertisement. And the only reason why you need to tell them is you're seeking confirmation that it's affordable. So what this young guy did is he went and got the best price, came back and asked them if it was affordable. That he did right. And they said, no, it's too much. And they said, is that the best you can do? And he got up out of his office and he went back to the desk again. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I couldn't say anything until they left. And he came over to me almost in tears and he said, Bill, what went wrong? What did I do wrong? I said, you got stuck at the interview stage. You told them how much. They asked for a best price. You ran up to the desk. What did I tell you to do? And he goes, not leave the office, but they needed the best price. I said, they don't need the best price right now. They haven't even fallen in love with the vehicle that they would like to go with. He said, the guy's going to sell his trade on his own so he get more money, and then he's going to come in. I said, no problem. Great. But in the meantime, let's take the vehicle for a drive. And if you're going to sell your trade on your own, why don't you do this? Purchase it was a pre-owned vehicle, purchase the new vehicle to them, and then go ahead and sell your trade. Take as much time as you need or want to sell the trade. Send it out for proper detailing, get it safetied and certified so there's no problem with the buyer coming in to buy it out of your driveway, and go in that direction. And don't drive it anymore. Take the plates off so it really looks like a new used vehicle to the next buyer. That would have been a way to go. Get these people out driving the new. He goes, they're not going to drive the new one without buying the trade-in. Why not? He said, because they don't have the money. They don't have the money to be able to go to the new one. Okay, will they have the money in 90 days? 90 days from right now, will they have the money? Will they have sold the trade-in? He goes, well, that's if they get X number of dollars for the trade-in. That is out of your control. Who cares? They just told you they'll sell it themselves privately to get more money. Can they sell it in 90 days? He goes, absolutely. The salesperson said, yeah, I'm sure they could. Then defer the payments for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That depends on the person's credit. But think like a customer. I don't want $3,000 for my trade. I want $8,000 for my trade. You want $8,000 for your trade? I agree with you. I think it's worth $79.95, or you could at least advertise it for $79.95. But that is selling on Marketplace, AutoTrader, Craigslist, Kijiji, Car Gurus, the list goes on. And you're going to have to put it on all of those. And you're going to have to boost all of those posts. You're going to have to buy advertising days. You're going to have a plan in order for you to get there. The point that is that when we think quickly and we get them emotional about the vehicle, doing a great walk-around presentation, creating the hooks that the story supports the hook, just like I did with the guy in the pickup truck that had no intention of buying. He came out of the business office. He's laughing and smiling. He came back to me. I'm sure we're going to become friends. He shakes my hand. He tells the general manager, the sales manager, he goes, I had no intention of buying an automobile today. I got to tell you, I've met a lot of salespeople, and it was a wonderful feather in my cap, and I'm not patting myself on the back for any of it. I sell on my own showroom floor. This stuff works. If you want to know more about it, if you want the latest and greatest, best system of all time, our one system of 3 phases and 9 steps is the only system that you need to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. It is absolutely warranted. Warranted. Just like the vehicles that you sell to clients, if something breaks, then you pay for it to get fixed so that they get to keep it. If you don't sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency, I warranty your success. Call me. We'll get you on track to do it. I will work with you. I will hold your hand. I will write the individual 30 email sequences for you to text, email, send a conventional mail, even a carrier pigeon strapped to their leg to your clients. I'll do it for you, but we're going to do it together. You're going to learn how to do it. Because at the end of the day, you don't need me. You need the system so that you can duplicate it over and over with predictable consistency. That's my legacy for you. You can do this forever. You never want to do anything else. Living your dream job, doing what you love, loving what you do is so easy to do by presenting the product. Because that's where your excitement and enthusiasm comes out. Your excitement and enthusiasm never comes out presenting price. And that's why the biggest competitors that I am up against are losing out anytime I go to a presentation for them. Anytime I go up against them in a presentation. They're losing out because they never sold. They never sold with success. And if they sold on price, they were selling to people that were motivated by scarcity and urgency. And everybody was a hero during the inventory shortage. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 even. Everyone was here. You couldn't sell a vehicle then. You can't sell vehicles with success at any point in time. When customers had to buy what you had on the lot, or they didn't get anything at all, that's what I'm talking about. Taking orders. Now, it's not like that anymore. It's right back to normal, or almost back to normal for most manufacturers. So, when you go out and you show that product to your customer, you get all excited about it, guess what? Your excitement is contagious. And your exciting presentation is about telling the story of the functionality of the feature that you're talking about, not just data dumping, not just puking information all over the place. Then segue that into a demonstration drive that you attend with them, and then continuing to do your product presentation, showing them the functionality in real time, driving on the roadway. Oh my gosh, they fall in love with you. It's wonderful. It's terrific. It's amazing. It can't be duplicated. This is how you sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles with predictable consistency all the time with no trouble at all. It really is wonderful and easy to do. Now, I say easy to do because the more you do it, the better the practice you get at it, and it becomes a conditioned response. That's when it gets easy. It's difficult in the beginning, unquestionably, learning a new skill, learning a new talent. And you may be selling automobiles now, and you may be saying, oh, Bill, I'm selling 12 now per month. Predictable and consistently, you will absolutely, unquestionably sell 12 this month and next month and the following month and into Q4 when seasonality kicks in. Doesn't matter where you live. You live in the northern 48s, the nights get longer, the days get shorter, the weather gets colder, the surface of the ground gets slipperier. You sell 12 all the time. Good. That just means that you're missing out on, what, 15, 16? You sell 4. Good. Let's get you to 8. That's 100% improvement. That probably seems monumental. That's still under the mark. In order for you to sell 8 automobiles per month and make a 6-figure income, you are going to have to earn a $1,100 commission per vehicle in order for you to break 6 figures. Now, I don't know what your commission structure is. I don't know the product that you are selling, if that is possible, and you're happy with 8 vehicles. Once you sell 8, I know you're going to get like everybody else, like I would, and get greedy and say, why couldn't I do 10? And 10 becomes 13, 13 becomes 18, and all of a sudden you're into 20. Largely because you want to make a 6-figure income and you can't make $1,100 per vehicle. And this is the reason why you want to sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month. If you're selling 20, don't you want to try and see if you could sell 28? What would life be like if you could sell 28? It all comes down to how excited and enthusiastic you get about the product, because that's contagious. That's what the customer wants. That's what they woke up this morning, came into your facility. Look, when you go to buy a snowmobile on the hottest day of the year, a snowmobile in July, hottest day of the year, I'm absolutely certain if the snowmobile salesperson said, why do you want a snowmobile? And the customer's like, well, why wouldn't I want a snowmobile? Well, because we're 6 months away from you possibly being ever able to use it anywhere. Even in Nunavut, the Northwest Territories of Canada, it's warm. There isn't a lot of snowmobiling going on. There's a lot of ATVing, there's a lot of UTVing and side-by-side riding. Why wouldn't you look at that? You just sank yourself. If you're the power sports salesperson, you just killed yourself. The customer wants a snowmobile. Get them excited about a snowmobile. Could you just imagine if you did this? If you were a snowmobile dealership, this is what I would do if I owned a snowmobile dealership. My best friend has a snowmobile dealership. I've told him several times, if you want to sell snowmobiles in the summertime because they're just accumulating interest, sitting there on the rack, he goes, I own them all for cash. Great. Imagine if you had the cash and you put that in the market, the money market, how much money you'd be making on it. Hey, right now, it's a pretty fantastic market that we're in. It goes up and down like a roller coaster, but in general, if you time it right and pull out, you could crush it. So, just imagine if you had a snowmobile with a grass track on it, and that individual comes in and says, I want to buy a snowmobile. Say, okay, this is a representative model. You know, tuck your tie in your shirt, if it was a businessman or a businesswoman, put this helmet on and ride through that field, that grass field over there, and pretend as you're riding through that grass field, that's a meter of soft, white powder snow. And get on it. Go ahead and squeeze it. We properly prepared the snowmobile to be able to handle the heat and the grass track and all the rest of it, so don't worry about that. And when you come back, tell me what you thought of how the vehicle worked. How many people would purchase a snowmobile in the summertime if they could actually try it? I know it would move me from a logical state of mind to an emotional state of mind if I'm already in a logical state of mind. I want to buy a snowmobile. But you try to talk me into an ATV, UTV, or a personal watercraft. Now the confused mind, I go, I wanted a snowmobile. But what you're saying is right. I should look at an ATV. I should look at a UTV. If I'm an ice fisherman, yeah, I could use the ATV to go out to my ice fishing spot. I don't know what to do now. I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to have to talk to my buddies about it. Which should I get, a snowmobile or ATV? You see how the confused mind always says no? This is why you can't sell 10, 20, or 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. You screw it up. Don't. Just go in the direction of what the customer would like to go with. And don't talk price. Tell them how much it costs. Ask them if that's affordable. Ask them if that's what they were thinking. Don't tell them that's the final number. Maybe we can do a little bit better. Maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room. If there's no wiggle room, and say, that's the price, and there's no wiggle room, is that in your range? Is that affordable? You can say that, any one of those three. Go right ahead and do so. And then go directly to a product presentation. They go, yeah, maybe I'll have to save up a little bit more. Perfect, great. Come on out here, follow me. And go to your product presentation. Get them excited about it, because all of a sudden, that I've got to wait a little bit, or I got to talk to my dad, or I got to save up a little bit more. Oh, isn't it amazing how that goes out the window? And it does every single time, because after you've sold an automobile, they go in the box, they go in the steam room, they go in the financial services office, and guess what happens? They buy the warranty, they buy the rust, dust, and lust, they buy the maintenance plan, right? They spend another 5 to 7 to 10 grand in the box when they told you this is way too much. I had no plan of spending this much money. I have no idea how I'm going to afford it. Can you do any more? They've spent 3 hours with you. Can you do a little bit more? And they go in the business office, and less than 20 minutes later walk out spending another 7 grand. Right? How often does that happen? I know. So the point is, the reason why we're not selling automobiles right now successfully, way better than last year, there's no reason why we shouldn't be. Forget about all the external factors and the economy and the politicians and the news. There are shoppers emailing you, calling you, and walking in the showroom. Every shopper is a buyer. Show them the vehicle, get them excited about it, tell the story, identify the hook, tell the story, and then present your irresistible offer, and you'll sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles with predictable consistency. You want to know more about my system? If you're struggling right now to sell 10, 20, or 30 vehicles, stop. Book a call with me. If you don't feel like you're part of the team and everybody's watching you like a hawkeye, stop. Book a call with me. We'll get some strategy going. If you want to know how to do it, happy to share with you our one system of 3 phases and 9 steps, which warranties your success. If you don't feel like you've got the support that you needed, maybe you've been selling on the floor for 6 months and you're averaging 6 cars a month, 10 cars a month, 16 cars a month, and you want to do much more than that, great. Stop struggling. Book a call. I'll make it worth your while, give you the tactics right away to get you 3, 4, 5 more vehicles per month. But if you want to do it with predictable consistency, join our system. Every single Thursday, like this, at 10 o'clock in the morning, you get the why, what, and how to sell 10, 20, 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. You get me coaching as much as you want. Book as many calls as you want. You can book a call every single day. You can book 2 calls every single. All you do is you click on the calendar, you pick a day and a time that's good for you, and lo and behold, you're plugged right into my calculator, and I'm ready to go. You get the online, on-demand, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available on any smartphone, tablet, laptop, desktop, anywhere in this world that has internet. You can do this on your vacation. You can do this as your spouse drives the car on the way to the cottage or to the ski chalet. You can do this anywhere you want, just as long as you've got an internet connection. And where you stop, the video stops right there, and then you resume on another device, hours, days, weeks later, picking up exactly where you saw. It's the Netflix of the training world. To my knowledge, I'm the only one that has that. I'm the only one that has coaching all wrapped up into one. Happy to share with you all the details of it, how much it costs, our easy, flexible payment plans in order for you to be able to get this, because I want to help you. I don't just want to sell my system. I want to help you reach your maximum potential, because you'll go out and tell others how they can reach the maximum potential based on the success that you've had. Just book a call. That's all I'm suggesting that you do. My name is Bill Harvey with the Auto Dealership Academy here on LinkedIn and in YouTube, the Auto Sales Academy on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic day. We're going to take a break from these classes, and I will keep posting in the groups and online. But we'll resume these classes again in August. I am on stage for a manufacturer for the next 2 weeks, and then it'll be holiday season in August, and then we'll resume right after that and pick the classes up where we left off. So watch the old videos, book a call. My calendar is going to be open. You'll have access to that in the meantime. Watch all the old videos. Facebook has changed the rules. YouTube has not. Facebook changed the rules, and now my videos are only saved for 30 days. So make sure you watch those videos before they automatically get deleted and dropped and they're gone in history. Or, even better than that, join the Auto Dealership Academy YouTube channel where you can see them forever. YouTube is not stopping. Google is not stopping hosting our videos. And it is free. And the only thing that I ask you to do there is subscribe. Click on the bell so you get a notification every time I upload a video. That's what I'm going to do between now and our August live classes. There will be videos loaded every single week there. We've prepared ourselves for it. The whole staff has done so. We've shot the videos here in the studio. Really excited to bring those to you as well so that you can reach your maximum potential. We're not going to let you down. So go to the Auto Dealership Academy on YouTube, subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications as soon as we upload a video. And at that point where you're like, okay, I've got a ton of information here. Bill, I really need to know the system in its chronological order and how you can warranty my success to make sure I'm going to get there. Then let's have that call, share with you the easy payment plans, how quickly you can get started, and watch your success go through the roof, like Chandler, like Rebecca, like Kelly, like Mike, and there's another Mike in there, and like Scott. And it's wonderful. These people came to us just like you, struggling miserably, struggling horribly, struggling to deliver 4 vehicles per month, and said, look, something's got to change. Either I got to change or the business has got to change. Something's got to change. And they spent the money when they didn't have a dime to their name. It was a huge expense. 3 of those people that I mentioned it to, they put it on their credit card, had to make the money back before the end of the month so that their spouse didn't see the fact that they spent the money. So I just leave that quick little story with you. There are so many wonderful ways for you to do this. The secret is I want to help you reach your maximum potential. That's the difference in me versus all other average, ordinary automobile trainers or any trainer out there. They're out there to sell you a ticket and get your money. In my opinion, I have signed up for those courses. Lots I've been very disappointed with. Others I've been enamored with, and the service is absolutely incredible. Bottom line for you is I warranty your success. I'll hold your hand to success. Have a wonderful day, terrific weekend, and watch for those videos. Join the Auto Dealership Academy on YouTube. Subscribe, turn on your bell notification, and I will see you again live in August. Bye-bye for now.